Hello, you're kicking off the Friday's edition of QPVN English News Bulletin. You're with Milinji and here come deadlines. President LUONG BESTOWS title of Ambassador of Armed Diplomats. 8 more Vietnamese officers to undertake UN peacekeeping missions. Benin province attracts $1.8 billion in investment. On the morning of January the 2nd, in the joyful atmosphere of the first days of the new year, President LUONG presented the decision granting the title of Ambassador of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam to the officials and diplomats of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Attending the ceremony were Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Foreign Affairs Bùi Thanh Sơn, Head of the President's Office Lê Khánh Hải, and representatives of the leaders from the President's Office and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. At the ceremony, Deputy Head of the Presidential Office, Phạm Thanh Hà, announced the President's decision granting the title of Ambassador of the Socialist Republic of Vietnam in 2024. Following the announcement of the decision, President LUONG presented the decisions conferring the title of Ambassador to Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs Nguyễn Minh Hằng, Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs Phạm Thanh Bình, Vietnamese Ambassador to India Nguyễn Thanh Hải, Deputy Director and Deputy Chief of the Minister of Foreign Affairs Office Ngô Toàn Thắng, and Nguyễn Vũ Tùng, Senior Lecturer at the Diplomatic Academy of Vietnam. The rank of ambassador represents the highest diplomatic title in Vietnam as stipulated in the 1995 Ordinance on Diplomatic Ranks and Grades. This prestigious designation has contributed to standardizing Vietnam's diplomatic service in accordance with international standards and practices, at the same time showing the recognition of the state and government to significant contribution of the recipients to the national development and foreign affairs. President LUONG congratulated the newly promoted ambassadors and urged them to continue making contribution to concretizing the foreign policy's goals in 2025 and beyond, helping strengthen Vietnam's position on the international arena, promote national interests and meet the requirements of the fatherland's construction and defense cause. Speaking at the conference of the Vietnam Board Committee to issue the leadership resolution for 2025 on the afternoon of January the 2nd, Senior Lieutenant General Trịnh Văn Quyết, Chairman of the General Political Department of the Vietnam People's Army, required the Board Committee to clearly define the task goals and solutions in the coming time so that its officers and soldiers can well perform their duties while continuously grasping situations and maintaining stability in border areas. In 2024, the Border Committee promoted its advisory role for the party, the state, the Central Militia Commission, and the Ministry of National Defense to devise strategic policies and solutions on borders and territorial sovereignty while comprehensively completing border defense tasks. Notably, the force has coordinated to find, prevent, and effectively handle foreign vessels violating Vietnam's waters, promoted peak campaigns of IU fishing prevention and control activities, specialized projects, professional plans, peak campaigns against crimes and law violation were successfully carried out, focusing on drug crime and human trafficking. Senior Lieutenant General Trịnh Văn Quyết requested the Vietnam Border Committee to have a more thorough assessment on its tasks to better implement them. He urged to draw practical experience to further improve immigration work, anti-crime and security assurance work in border areas. On the afternoon of January the 2nd, General Nguyễn Tân Cương, Chief of the General Staff of the Vietnam People's Army and Deputy Defense Minister, chaired the conference reviewing the 3-year implementation of the guideline, the quality of school training in the unit's combat readiness capabilities. Our 3-year implementation of the guideline, the quality of school training is the unit's combat readiness capabilities. Throughout the military, education and training work in the military has witnessed strong breakthroughs. Specifically, the Minister of National Defense has worked, inspected and drawn lessons for 6 schools. The Central Militia Commission and the Ministry of National Defense have directed the whole military to summarize Resolution number 86 of the 15-year implementation, promulgate Resolution number 1657 and 7 projects, along with many leadership documents and policy on education and training that closely meet practical requirements. The quality of many working space and military schools has been improved. Graduates have good qualities and abilities while meeting the times requirements. In the coming term, the military school system will continue developing under the elite, compact, strong, specialized, intelligent, and modern direction. At the same time, boosting comprehensive renovation and secularization of military recruitment work, thus attracting more excellent students to military schools. On the afternoon of January the 2nd, the Product Committee of Military Region 9 issued a resolution on leading military defense and product building tasks in 2025. Senior Lieutenant General Võ Minh Lương, the Defense Minister, attended the conference. Senior Lieutenant General Võ Minh Lương asked the Product Committee of Military Region 9 to focus on improving the quality of training and exercises in the coming term, strengthen education, self-discipline, and observance of law and regulations of the military. The Product Committee of Military Region 9 was ordered to uphold the principle of democratic centralism, collective leadership, and individual responsibility under the spirit of 7 days. For the immediate task, Senior Lieutenant General Võ Minh Lương requested the Product Committee of Military Region 9 to direct this implementation of combat readiness during TED, organize training and parades to celebrate the 50th anniversary of the South Liberation Day, take good care of soldiers and people's lives so that they can enjoy a Lunar New Year in a safe and thrifty manner and be well prepared for the upcoming enlistment drive. On January the 2nd, the Ministry of National Defense organized a ceremony to present the President and the Minister of National Defense decisions to assign 8 more officers to UN peacekeeping missions. Senior Lieutenant General Hoàng Xuân Chiến, Deputy Defense Minister, head of the Intersectoral Working Group and head of the Ministry of National Defense Steering Committee on Participation in the UN peacekeeping operations, judged and assigned tasks to the officers. The officers will take on various positions, including training staff, equipment, communications, intelligence staff, and analysis at MINUSCA. The others will serve as a staff officer and a military observer at UNMISS. Senior Lieutenant General Hoàng Xuân Chiến praised the Vietnamese peacekeeping force for maintaining the effectiveness of the work of human resources development while increasing the rate of female soldiers participating in UN peacekeeping operations. The general requested the officers to promote the traditions of the Vietnam People's Army and the Vietnamese Blue Beret Force, continue to beautify the image of the country, people, and military of Vietnam. 2 basic factors in winning the war are manpower and weapons and equipment. Manpower is the decisive factor, while weapons and equipment are important factors. With the motto, human first, weapons follow, President Ho Chi Minh and the Communist Party of Vietnam properly balanced the relationship between people and weapons to gradually improve the fighting strength of the Revolutionary Army, moving towards the final victory. In the 2 resistant wars, we can see a huge difference in terms of manpower and weaponry between our military and the enemies. So what was the key factor that made our victory Con Vũ Tăng Bồng? In the history of world wars, weapons and technical equipment always play a critical role, but the most important thing is not weapons and equipment, but the human fighter. Before establishing the Vietnam Propaganda Unit of the Liberation Army, President Ho Chi Minh once told General Võ Nguyên Giáp and other comrades in the Central Committee that we must popularize the ideology of human first, weapons follows. If there are people, there will be weapons. The human fighter was of extreme importance. The Vietnam Military History Museum recreates the scenery of the Trường Sơn Trail, also known as the Ho Chi Minh Trail. On May 19, 1959, the Politburo, the Party Central Committee, and President Ho Chi Minh decided to open the Trường Sơn strategic supply route. During 16 years of operation, the Trường Sơn strategic route, connecting the north with the south, was not only a strategic military transport and logistic route, but also a true battlefield, a place of fierce intellectual social and physical struggle between the poor and backward Vietnamese people and the rich and powerful American imperialists with the giant, modern and sophisticated war machine. Of the total 16 million tons of bombs that the American imperialists dropped, 9 million tons were down on the Ho Chi Minh Trail. We accepted all sacrifices to open the way to support the South. In such circumstances, we could still seize the victory. The Vietnamese history recorded this as the heroic feat of the nation. It is the path of the war to win, the heroic spirit of the Vietnamese people, whose representatives are the officers and soldiers of the Ho Chi Minh Trail. It is the MiG-21 aircraft coded 5121. This aircraft was manufactured by the Soviet Union and provided to Vietnam in the resistance war against the American imperialists. It shot down 5 enemy aircraft, including a B-52. For the first time, the history of war air combat recorded that the Vietnam People's Air Force, with only MiG aircraft, shot down the impeccable B-52 super fortress of the American imperialists. Those victories demonstrate not only the patriotism, the determination to fight and to win of the Vietnam People's Army and the Vietnamese people, but first and foremost, the Vietnamese intelligence, as well as further affirming the victory of the strength of the intelligence, the dominant role of manpower. We are looking at the globe and the mirrors reflecting the history of building and defending the country of the Vietnamese people from the Hùng Kinh and Dương Vương period to the 2 resistant wars against colonialism and imperialism in the 20th century. The victories of the Vietnamese military and people in the struggles to protect the fatherland are an unparalleled example of the complete triumph of human matter and intelligence over weapons and machines. Thoughts of human-first weapons follow, as proposed by President Ho Chi Minh, not only was in the past but is still the wise direction to build a revolutionary, regular, highly skilled and gradually modernized people's army. Coming up next, Bắc Ninh province attracts $1.8 billion in investment. Vietnam's territorial and garment exports target $48 billion in 2025. On the morning of January the 2nd, Bắc Ninh province held a New Year investment certification granting ceremony. At the conference, Bắc Ninh province granted investment registration certificates to 18 domestic and foreign enterprises and investors with a total assisted capital of nearly $1.8 billion, of which foreign direct investment reached $1.67 billion. These are enterprises and investors operating in the high-tech industry sector, making important contribution to the development of Bắc Ninh province in general and the whole country in particular. In early 2025, the province granted investment registration certificates and approved investments with a value of about $1.91 billion. Bắc Ninh is one of the leading localities in the country in industrial development. Bắc Ninh industrial parks have been affirming their position, creating strong developments, continuously ranking among the top localities attracting the foreign investments for many years, being an attractive destination for domestic and foreign investors. Through market diversification, customer expansion, and technological innovation, Vietnam's territorial industry reached $44 billion in exports in 2024, with its range is now target $48 billion for 2025. Amid geopolitical shifts since mid-2024, the textile supply chain has moved to more stable regions with strong production and capacity and a stable political and social environment. Vietnam has emerged as a key alternative sourcing hub for textile buyers. Many industry leaders have not only met their targets but also set ambitious goals for 2025. We have set a growth target in revenue of over 5,055 trillion Vietnam đồng, an increase of about 7% compared to the results achieved in 2024. Profit is also expected to follow a similar trend. We must accept the global rules, meaning that we need to comply with the standards set by important countries for their markets. We should be smart businesses, stay updated with trends, and adapt to them. With order volumes rebounding, Vietnam's territorial and government military aims for 10% growth in 2025, targeting exports of 47 to 48 billion US. Many companies already have orders for the first quarter and are negotiating deals for the second quarter. It is the end of the latest news bulletin today. You can watch the news again at qpvn.vn. Goodbye and see you next time.